each of our 3 foundation focus areas, or pillars, and share some exciting announcements with each of these. As you listen, I want you to ask yourself how you can be one for someone through the Young Living Foundation today. Education is the first pillar that supports our mission to protect and empower the world's young. Since the Young Living Academy started in 2009, we've had over 1,000 members rise up to be a sponsor of a Young Living Academy student. Each one of these sponsors has helped to shift the trajectory of our Academy students. In preparation for convention and the announcement of the new One Heart blend, I was so excited to call Young Living student sponsors Sarah Johnson and Joanna Stewart to tell them that the Young Living Academy student they sponsored, Anita, designed the One Heart blend label. I wanted to thank them both for all they had done in supporting Anita and her dreams to become a graphic designer. And because of their support and Anita's drive, the Young Living global family is benefiting from this beautifully designed blend. On these calls, both Sarah and Joanna were quick to tell me how much supporting Anita with her education has meant to them. If you would like to be one for a student at the Young Living Academy today, text B1 to 91011 or visit the website on the screen below. Because of the powerful impact education can have in breaking the cycle of poverty and raising up bright and powerful leaders, the Young Living Foundation is excited to announce that we are expanding our support to provide education and leadership development through 2 new partnerships. Located at Mexico's southern border, Chiapas has consistently been ranked the country's poorest state. Youth in Chiapas face significant barriers in receiving an education, largely because most families live on subsistence farming, and many children work instead of going to school so they can contribute to their family's income. The Young Living Foundation will be teaming up with an organization called Escalera to increase school attendance for the indigenous youth of Chiapas. These faces are part of a demographic where only 40% make it past the 9th grade. Together, we're going to change that. We are also very excited to announce a global partnership with Goals for Girls, a soccer-based life skills education and leadership development platform. Goals for Girls holds leadership events for girls ages 12 to 18 across the United States, India, and South Africa, where they learn how to be the change they wish to see in their communities. During these events, girls design community impact projects where they put leadership to action to tackle a local issue affecting them. In the future, we will be looking to you, our Young Living members, to become active mentors in guiding participating young girls at these events or through mentoring community impact projects. Be sure to follow our social media to learn more about these 2 partners and the impact we'll be making in Mexico, the United States, India, and South Africa. Our second pillar that supports our mission to protect and empower the world's young is developing enterprise. Young Living is made up of over 95% female entrepreneurs of all ages around the world and have been given the opportunity to build their businesses and provide for their families. There are many women around the world born into conditions of vulnerability that carry the economic burden of providing for their children, but have very limited employment options. Many of these women face harsh decisions. Do I pay for my child's school fees, or do I feed my child for a month? Do I feed my child, or do I pay for their life-saving medication? Extreme poverty makes it challenging for mothers to keep their children safe, fed, cared for, and educated, which keeps these cycles going to the next generation. This is where the Young Living Foundation comes in. Under this enterprise pillar, the Young Living Foundation will be looking for opportunities to give seed money to women-led businesses in disadvantaged areas, so they have the opportunity to earn an income and provide for their families. One of the ways we will be doing this is by partnering with women-led artisan groups in vulnerable circumstances around the world and giving them small grants to build and expand their income-generating activities. We've recently partnered with artisan groups across 10 countries many of whom are resilient survivors of extreme poverty, HIV/AIDS, disability, displacement, war, forced prostitution, and violence. We will then look to connect these talented women's groups to the Young Living market. These groups come from refugee communities here in Salt Lake City, Utah, to the Navajo Nation of Arizona, all the way to the Holy Lands of Bethlehem and the Andes Mountains of Peru. Do you remember the dryer balls from Nepal for the April promo? These bags were sewn by women who have transitioned from dehumanizing work in the commercial sex industry of Kathmandu to skilled seamstresses now working in safe and dignifying conditions. And what about the oil diffusing bracelets from the March promo? I was lucky enough to be in Uganda when this group of women received their order from Young Living. This was their reaction when I announced it. These women continued to dance and cheer for a good 15 minutes, and they started chanting something in the local language of Luganda. When I asked what they were saying, I was so struck by their response. Today, our children will drink milk. This order is enabling these mothers to pay for their children's school fees for the year and to put food on the table. Continued business could result in these women having the opportunity to break the generational cycle of poverty for their children. Be on the lookout for how different Young Living departments and markets around the globe will highlight items like these from our Young Living Foundation-supported artisan groups around the world. The third pillar supporting our mission to protect and empower our world's young is ending exploitation. For the past 4 years, we have been supporting efforts to end exploitation with our foundation partner, Hope for Justice. To date, the Young Living Foundation has helped provide shelter, rescue, protection, and well-being to over 5,000 children in Uganda, Ethiopia, and Cambodia. But currently, there are 40.3 million people living in conditions of forced labor, sexual exploitation, domestic servitude, and forced marriage worldwide. Trafficking is rampant across the Western industrialized world. And that's why we are extremely excited to announce that because of your continued generosity, we are expanding our Hope for Justice partnership to also support the end of slavery and the rescuing of victims across Europe, the United States, and Australia. I would like to introduce my dear friend, Ben Cooley, CEO of Hope for Justice, a global anti-trafficking charity that is working to end modern slavery around the world. I'm going to hand this over to Ben to share examples of how your generosity is making a profound difference in ending slavery and changing lives.
Hey, thank you so much, Jackie. It's so good to be here online with you at convention. We at Hope for Justice absolutely love Young Living. It was only a few years ago that I stood on a platform with Gary and we shared a powerful moment that reinforced this special relationship. I'm so humbled by Mary's, by Jared's, and by Greg's support over the years, and much more recently Jackie's as well. We're so thrilled to be partnered with Young Living Foundation. The overwhelming commitment of Young Living members is both helping us to resource this dream of living in a world free from slavery and practically making it a reality. You know, one of the members of Young Living heard about a suspected case of human trafficking a few months ago and bravely reported it through to Hope for Justice. Being able to spot the signs of modern-day slavery is something that everyone can do, and in this case, it's been an integral part to setting people free from slavery. Our investigators in America began looking into the information that had been provided. The evidence helped us to identify a number of children, all under the age of 18, all of whom have been sexually abused by men, abused in unspeakable ways. The information that you shared also helped us to identify a further 8 victims of sexual exploitation. Thanks to Young Living Foundation, these victims are getting the vital help and support that they need here in the United States. And right now, our team are working with the FBI and local enforcement on this case, so we're not able to share about the active investigation, but we are doing everything possible to ensure that those responsible are brought to justice. I want to emphasize that you really are making freedom possible. You are sending out waves of hope, and we're so thrilled to be working with Young Living. I want to share with you a thought, if I can, today, because many of you may believe that you aren't making a difference. You may believe that you aren't bringing an end to exploitation. You aren't bringing freedom to the captives. I love the saying that no one raindrop ever felt responsible for the flood. There's something so powerful about that saying, because people don't often think that they're making a difference. But when every single raindrop and every single person decides to fight injustice, decides to give of $1, decides to take a stand against slavery, those raindrops contribute to a flood, to a tsunami that's bringing hope, life, and freedom. When we, the people, decide to be the change we want to see in the world, then suddenly raindrops become an unhampered, unbeatable, untamable, unstoppable flood that breaks down every single wall of oppression and fear and brings life and light and hope to the darkest of places. A few months ago, I was in Uganda. While I was there, I heard about a 3-month-old baby who we had just rescued from horrendous exploitation. This baby girl had been sexually abused by men. And so awful was that abuse that the child had to undergo reconstructive surgery for which you paid for. We rescued this baby and her mother, who was just 14 years old. This child, the name is Adia, was born into exploitation. Her mother was a victim of child sexual exploitation. And thankfully our team was there. And thankfully they knew what to do. And thankfully they were able to get Adia and her mother safely to one of our lighthouses. Her mother told our team, "I'm so thankful I'm not alone." Thankfully, someone decided to give hope. And that one raindrop has meant that that mother and her daughter are now safe. Young Living has made freedom possible for this family. And they are receiving care, support, and love. And they have been given residential treatment, medical care, and help to rebuild their lives. Adia has been profoundly affected by the evil and tyranny that we know exists within our world. But she's also been profoundly impacted by the good that Young Living has done. Because you decided to stand shoulder to shoulder with us. Because you decided to do something extraordinary with your life. Because of you, this person is going to live in hope. This person is going to live uncontrolled, unhindered, unchained. Adia and her mother will live in freedom. I want to ask you today whether you could make this possible, not just for one, but for everyone trapped in slavery. Every child that without access to education. Every mother that is struggling to provide for her children. You see, we want to live in a world where every man, woman, and child lives in freedom. We're sending out waves of hope, which are starting here on our doorsteps, but rippling out through our streets and gathering momentum. I'm asking you for a bold decision today to join with us so that we can live in a world free from slavery. I'm asking you whether you can give by texting B1 to 91011 and give the gift of freedom, the gift of education, the gift of stability for a mother. B1 for someone today. I'm not sure how much you can give. I'm not sure how much you can sacrifice, but wouldn't it be awesome if we doubled our efforts, tripled our efforts, because we believe that justice is non-negotiable and that freedom is worth the fight. And at Hope for Justice and Young Living Foundation, we refuse to abandon the least, the last, and the lost. Can you be one for someone? And those raindrops together create a flood. When you donate, when you give, when you sow, you're creating that flood. 100% of what you give today goes directly to protecting and empowering the world's young. You today can make that happen. Thank you. Thank you.